Hello everyone, it's Theme Park Avenue, I'm Eric, and as I'm in Florida, one of the big major theme parks nearby is Universal Orlando Resort. There are plenty of top-notch dark rides, roller coasters, and thrill rides in this park. However, there are also plenty of pretty lame, unspectacular, and downright bad rides in this park. So today, I'm going to be ranking all of them. Before I get to the ranking, I ask that you subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 400 by the time April begins. I appreciate your support. Now we're going to begin ranking every ride at Universal Orlando Resort. First off, we have, in last place, Fast and the Furious Supercharged. I've talked about this before, I really hate this ride. I think it is unenjoyable, it's really slow and boring, the theming is not great, the visuals are nothing special. It's a particularly vulgar and just unpleasant ride to be on. Kids won't like it, adults won't like it, I don't know anyone who enjoys this ride. Number 30 is Shrek 4D. This one was definitely my least favorite before Fast and Furious opened. I think its 4D integration is terrible. It hurts to ride. The actual movie thing is pretty lame. There's a few funny parts, but it's mostly just the Game Boy Shrek plot, and it's pretty lame. Definitely not a good ride. Number 29 is Skull Island Reign of Kong, the weakest ride at Islands of Adventure. This one, it's just kind of in its own corner. Same technology as Fast and Furious, however, it is much better. The station theming is fantastic, and there are some good visuals, and at points it actually feels like you're moving. The big Kong animatronic at the end is also very cool. So while this one has decent visuals, it's also pretty boring and unenjoyable overall. Some people really like this one, but I think outside of good moments at the beginning, the end, and some station theming, the screen integration's not all that great, and the ride is only, at best, passable for me, but I think it's honestly still a bad ride. Number 28 is One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish. This is a generic kind of Dumbo type ride. There really is not anything else to say about it. It's just an okay kid ride. And number 27 is Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. This is another one some enjoy, however, I feel like there's really nothing impressive about it. The 3D integration's okay. I thought it was going to be a little more impressive. I like the station theming, I'll say that, but other than that, it's a pretty boring ride. I'm very picky about motion simulators because I much prefer like practical effects or rides to just sitting in front of a screen. And this is a great example of that. This ride is alright for me, but I mean, it's really not that good. Number 26 is Cat in the Hat. This ride is not that great, honestly. The theming is pretty bland, and it's a very dated ride that has not aged all that well. It honestly could be taken down soon, I would not mind. It's just a very unspectacular dark ride, and the Cat in the Hat animatronic is terrible. Number 25, Carousel. This is actually slightly better because it's not nearly as scary. It's just your average kid's carousel, nothing really to talk about there. It's fine. Number 24, King and Kodo Swirl and Twirl. This is another Dumbo type ride, but also has this like fun sort of narration thing going on, and a little bit of theming to it. It's definitely more fun than the average spinner ride. Number 23 is the High in the Sky Seuss Trolley Train Ride, or something like that. This one just kind of takes you around Seuss Landing. You get some nice views of Islands of Adventure, and there's some narration going on. It's kind of like Jaguar and Knott's Berry Farm, but less thrilling and a little less fun. It's a fine ride though, I guess. And number 22 is Pteranodon Flyers. This one's pretty fun, slightly thrilling, nice area, venue, theming. It's a decent ride. It's nothing great, but it's definitely one that kids will certainly enjoy. Number 21 is Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon. This is another motion simulator, and honestly, I don't love the motion simulators overall. This one, it really doesn't feel like you're moving at all, but it's still pretty fun. The station theming is very, very good, and there are some funny moments in the ride. Definitely worth a short wait, but really not one I would go back to very often. Number 20 is Storm Force Accelatron. This one is a bit more intense than the average like teacup spinning ride, and you choose how you spin. It can be a pretty fun, intense ride if you want that, or it can be just a calm, relaxing one. It's nothing amazing, but it's a lot more fun than the other like basic rides at the park, so it deserves a spot in the top 20. Number 19 is the Hogwarts Express. Obviously, this is just a transportation ride, takes you from one park to the other. However, I really enjoy it because there's some good theming on it. The one thing I wish is that it kind of came around with the snack cart, but it's a pretty short ride, so it's not a big deal, but it is definitely a well-themed and fun Harry Potter ride. Number 18, Flight of the Hippogriff. This one's a sort of kid coaster, and it's pretty fun. The theming is very good. I got a bit thrown around, and it's pretty thrilling. And I don't love the restraints, but it's still a pretty good junior coaster. And number 17 is another of the same model, Woody Woodpecker's Nut House Coaster. I give this one a slight edge, as the theming is a bit more fun, maybe less impressive, and I also thought the ride was a bit smoother. Both are pretty fun kid coasters, but I definitely prefer Woody Woodpecker. And number 16 is E.T. Adventure. This one a lot of people love. I thought it doesn't age the best. It's pretty small scale, honestly. I like the part where you're going above the city in the bike, that's decent. The part where you go to Gilroy Gardens, it's kind of weird. Or sorry, E.T.'s Planet, not Gilroy Gardens. I wish that could have been a bit more fun and a bit less weird. I like the part at the end where he says your name, but other than that, this is just a decent dark ride. Number 15 is Transformers the Ride. Now, I have to admit, I think this one's only decent. Part of it is because it's very similar to another ride in this list that's way better. This one is like the Michael Bay Transformers movies, which are not very good. The visuals are pretty good on this ride, and I think the use of the ride vehicle is pretty smart, though it's just not nearly as fun or impressive as the other ride I'm going to mention. It's very loud, and it's not as much of a story. It's only a decent dark ride. A lot of people really love this one, but I don't think it's really anything special. Number 14 is the Jurassic Park River Adventure. The big T-Rex drop at the end is great, and the animatronics are very good, but other than that, this is much more calm than the other water rides in the park, and I prefer a little more thrill to it, so it's just a good ride overall. Number 13 is Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. Getting to choose your music is definitely the highlight, because the roller coaster layout is honestly pretty bad. The many brake runs are not enjoyable. Sometimes I get very smooth rides, sometimes they're very rough. If it was only smooth rides, this might make top 10, but for now, I have to leave it at this spot. Number 12 is Men in Black Alien Attack, an undoubtedly really fun ride. It's a good shooting ride, plenty of aliens all around, has a lot of fun, charm to it. It's a very good ride. It's not necessarily amazing, but it's very fun. Number 11 is Dr. Doom's Fearfall. This one is just a drop tower. It has a good pre-show, but not a ton of theming. However, I think thrills are more important than theming, and that's why this gets a higher spot. It's tall, fast, and undoubtedly fun. Number 10 is Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. This might be my most controversial pick because a lot of people would easily put this in the top 3. However, while I think the animatronics are really cool, and the ride design and the car they use is really unique and fun, and it's such an interesting experience, and the theming overall is amazing, I have issues with the screen technology. Whenever the car is sitting in front of a screen, it's kind of boring, and I feel like that part just has not aged very well, and that technology is not the best. The big Aragog animatronic and the other animatronics they have are amazing, the station theming is great, and I get why a lot of people like this ride. I don't wait in the long lines it normally has though. If I want to go on this one, I'll just take the single rider line. It's still undoubtedly a really great ride, but I think the other ones above it really are just more fun and have more impressive theming overall. Number 9 is Popeye and Bluto's Bilge Rat Barges. This is a very fun river rapid ride with some incredible theming, lots of great references to the old cartoon, and you get wet if you want to. It's just a really fun ride. If you don't like water rides, you won't like this one, but if you do not mind getting wet, it's a very fun splash ride, and it's really great overall. Definitely one of my favorite water rides. Number 8 is the Simpsons ride, and yes, I put this above Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. The design of the car is actually pretty similar, however this one's a motion simulator. The reason this gets an edge is I am quite partial to the Simpsons. I'm a big fan. I really enjoy them, and that is why this gets a bit higher. It's a fun ride with a lot of great references and jokes, and it's just a really enjoyable experience. The only issue is that the motion doesn't add a whole lot to the ride, and you could watch a POV from home and get a similar experience, but it's still a very good ride. Number 7, Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts. A roller coaster with minimal thrills, but unbelievable theming. This ride's theming is top notch. It's mostly screens, but they are used so well that I don't even mind. It's just a really great roller coaster set in the amazing Diagon Alley area. Not much else to say, it's just really great. Number 6, Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls. It pains me to put this at 6, I love this ride. It's amazing. It's the best water ride in the world. Amazing theming, some pretty thrilling elements, a great drop at the end, and I'd never even heard of Deadly Do Right, but this was great. It's a great callback to the old, like, cliffhanger type cartoons back in the 30s, 50s, things like that. A lot of great cliche things that are made really funny, like train tracks and putting a damsel in distress on them. It's just a really fun ride, and I really, really love this one. Entering the top 5, number 5 is Revenge of the Mummy. This used to be my number 2, and it's still the best ride at Studios. That tells you how much better Islands of Adventure is overall. However, Revenge of the Mummy is a great ride. The thrilling elements really work. It's perfectly smooth. The theming is unbelievable. It's almost as good as Gringotts, in fact. It's a really, really great ride. Backwards parts are really cool. It's just so much fun. It's one of Premier Ride's best roller coasters, and it's a really, really great one that you must ride if you go to the park. Number 4, The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. This is the single greatest dark ride in the world. I've not been on all, but in my opinion, this is the best one that I have been on, at least. It is so much fun. It has the best use of 3D on anything I've ever seen. The mix of screens and practical effects is amazing. This ride is over 20 years old, but it has not aged a bit. It's true to the comics, it has all the villains, has a bunch of funny one-liners. I don't think I've ever laughed on a theme park ride before this one, actually. It's just such a fun ride. This actually puts the amusement in amusement park more than anything else at Universal Studios or Islands of Adventure. However, there are a few more roller coasters that I have to give a top spot to because they are big, thrilling rides. Number 3 is Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. I confess I've not been on this one yet, but I'm pretty certain this is where it'll fall. The theming is unbelievable from what I've seen, probably best in the park, and it actually has some really good thrilling elements too, and there's some backwards launches and drop tracks, and it looks like a great ride. I'm pretty certain when I go on it, this is where it'll fall. Maybe I'll be disappointed, maybe I'll be surprised in the good way, but for now, I think this is going to be my number 3. Number 2 is my current favorite at the park, the Incredible Hulk. Incredible Hulk is a great B&M launch coaster with a surprising amount of force to it. Great inversions, incredible pacing, cool music even, nice location. Obviously doesn't have a whole lot of theming, as many would know if they've ridden it, but the launch out of the first drop is really amazing, right into that inversion. It's just a really great thrilling ride, and easily the one ride I have to go on if I go to a Universal park. Whenever I go, this is the one I immediately run to. That said, number 1, while not open yet, I'm pretty certain that number 1 when it opens will be VelociCoaster. This looks to be one of the greatest roller coasters in Florida, and in fact the world even. The pacing looks amazing, the layout fantastic, the theming certainly better than Hulk. It looks like one of Intamin's absolute greatest coasters they'll ever make. Really intense, fast, well-paced, just a really, really great ride overall. And I think it'll definitely be my number 1 at the Universal Parks. If you don't want to count it, just move everything below it up one spot. And thank you for watching, that is my list. It was quite tiring to have to rank all 31, but I was happy I was able to do it. Comment your list below, like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe so you know when I make new videos. I'll see you next time.